Hello, welcome to the Roy Rogers News Channel. Thank you so much for watching. Alright, today for the next episode of the PokeMMO treasure hunting series, we're going to dive into Stantler and Banette, how to catch them and the breeding process and to optimize them for Frisk standards. So let's go ahead and go step by step and try to figure out how to catch both Pokemon. Oh yeah, of note, if you have not seen part 1 of the treasure hunting series, then feel free to watch it, as I documented a biography on every single Frisk Pokemon you can obtain in the game. And I know that some people have written me this while I was in game. Yeah, Stantler does have Earthquake, but I'd rather have Teddy Ursa for that, because Teddy Ursa has the ability Pickup, which means I get a small chance to pick up an item after every fight, rather than frisking one Pokemon individually. So that's why I favor the Teddy Ursa over the Stantler. But it can work, and Dusknoir can also learn Earthquake too, implying that the hidden ability is already released. But I'm going to note here that Dusknoir's hidden ability is not implemented yet on PokeMMO as the time of this taping. However, I still think that Teddy Ursa is still a better choice because of Pickup, in my personal opinion. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into how to obtain Stantler and how to obtain the Shuppet, which you can turn into Banette right now. Alright, I am back here at the Abundant Shrine. In fact, you can fly here if you'd like, right there, where the red arrow is pointing. Now, before we hunt for Stantler, first we should lead off with the Breloom. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, Breloom is the usual Breloom. It has False Swipe, it has Spore, and all that fun stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and obtain a Stantler right now. Alright, we are back, and Stantler is actually more common in a horde than it is by singular encounter. Now, it'd be advised, if you were to use the Sweet Scent method, that you can go ahead and go into something that has a knockout move. Now, you should catch a female. Alright, we are back, and I narrowed down to just one Stantler, and if you notice, I knocked out all the males. Now, there was another female, but for the camera angle, I wanted to get the center one, so that way it looks aesthetically pleasing for you. Alright, this is where we start to figure out a way how to catch Stantler. Now, be careful, Stantler has Jump Kick. If it misses, then it has a awful recoil damage, so. Oh, good. Now let's go ahead and use Spore. Okay. And since it's nighttime, I'm going to be using the Best Ball. But you know, for illustration purposes, I'm going to be using a Timer Ball, since you probably have taken a lot of turns to knock out the other 4 Stantlers. So let's go ahead and use that Timer Ball and see if it works. Alright, so we're throwing a Timer Ball. Timer Balls only work the more turns that stack up. There we go. That did work for Stantler. Now, let's go and see what we have to deal with. Alright, Docile. We can go ahead and make this into a 2x31. In fact, you can probably go on the global trade link and you can find some breeders that are field. So let's go ahead and go to the breeding spot here. And we can turn this into a 2x31. Now, I should note that when you're breeding, you should have an inventory of the breeder Pokemon. In fact, I'm going to show you my breeding inventory briefly, and then I'm going to go to the global trade link. So, coming back. Alright, so I went ahead and fast forward over to the breeder box, and we have a fair amount of field Pokemon. Now, this is my inventory, but I'm going to imply that you have no inventory. So, what are we going to do? We're going to go on the global trade link, and we're going to try to figure out where we can buy some of the 31 attack. So, 31 attack, 31 speed. That's all we need, and Adamant nature. So, let's go ahead and search for that. Now, in my personal opinion, I think it's easier to go after the nature first, but that's just me. And then let's go ahead and narrow it down to field here. I should note that if you want a full tutorial about how to breed, my colleagues Empty Birchfield and Petrosky have released really nice videos explaining the whole process of IV and nature stacking. So I'm going to leave it over to them, but I'm just going to show you the bare essentials. So we're going to be anticipating Adamant, and since this thing doesn't have 31 attack, we're going to search for 31 attack and 31 speed. Now, we should take off this nature since we already have it with that Pokemon. And let's go ahead and do 31 here real quick. Alright, so 6k there. Let's go and search 31 speed. Let's see how much that's worth. Okay, and that's 10k. Okay, so we're going to do 6k because I like to save myself the amount of money there. So we have 6k right there. Let's go and buy that Mareep. Go ahead and get our 2x31 male breeder. Now, I know that some people are probably going to say, hey Roy, you can get a male with 1x31, you get a female with another 1x31, and you can breed that together. And you can be able to save some money. Yeah, but I want to save some time in this recording because it's going to go rather long. So just to save some time, I'm going to go ahead and search for the breeder here. So we need fields, since Stantler is a field egg group. And that is 44k, which is nice. Alright, then we're going to have to factor in the brace expenses. So we're going to have to brace 1 and 2. Now, I like to use the analogy of ping pong. So essentially what I like to do is I like to first give the Stantler its nature, then we do Adamant, right, with the Everstone, which we're going to have to buy 3 of those, and I can buy those momentarily. And then we need to get the Power Bracer and the Power Anklet to transfer the stats. Let's go and buy the Power Bracer for Mareep. Let's go and buy the Power Anklet for the Sandshrew. And then we're going to buy a total of 3 Everstones, since I'm going to imply you don't have a Frisker yet, so you can't hunt for the Everstones yourself yet. But we can go ahead and search for the cheapest option, which is about 5.5k. So let's go ahead and get 3 Everstones because that's the amount we're going to need. So first we're going to equip Mienfoo with Everstone, then we're going to equip Mareep with the Power Bracer, and then we're going to equip the Sandshrew with the Power Anklet. So I'm going to go ahead and do that momentarily. Okay, I am back, folks. I got 17k now, and the reason why I have 17k specifically is because we're going to have to factor in the gender costs. So every time you breed the Stantler, you always have to pick female, so you can be able to tack on the IVs. Now, I like to treat this as a ping pong ball, as I mentioned earlier, where you essentially hit the ping pong ball once, right? You get the Adamant, then you hit it another time to get the 31 attack, and then you hit it one more time to get the speed stat. So that's the way how I like to think of breeding. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that. Now, I know that there are some people that breed with different methods, so feel free to do that if you have a different method, but I'm going to show you the ping pong method, which is the method I use. So let's go ahead and pick female, since I don't want to roll male. There you go, and then we just wait for it to hatch, and we'll be back with you to demonstrate the other breed. Alright, we are back, and Stantler has hatched. So now I'm going to breed the Stantler with the Mareep. So let's go ahead and do that right now, and then we can transfer the attack IV. There we go. And then we can wait for this egg. Alright, I am back, and before I breed these two, I want to show that I want to transfer over the Adamant nature and the 31 speed. Now, I should note that you want to pick the female gender just in case you want to modify the Stantler later. So let's go ahead and put up these two here. And let's go ahead and pick the female gender. Okay. And then we're going to put in a Pokeball for now, but you can specify the ball that you want. Because for now, this is going to be our final breed due to the time constraints. So I don't want to go through a lot of the IVs, because otherwise this is going to take a while. But you can hatch a Stantler and you can EV train it, max attack, max speed, and then you can be able to farm certain items and sell it in the global trade link. And then once you create enough of a money snowball, then you could eventually upgrade this Stantler over to a Banette, which is more expensive to breed. On that note, we're going to take a quick break, so we're going to be right back. Please stay tuned to the Roy Rogers News Channel for further treasure hunting coverage. Alright, and Stantler has hatched, and this is the final product, 2x31. Now, you can upgrade these IVs on your own time, but I want to save some time for our recording, so that's why I didn't want to do it right away. But again, feel free to watch the videos down in the description below. MT Birchill and Petrowski really did an excellent job explaining how to tack on the IVs and the nature. So good job to MT Birchill and Petrowski. Alright, so now let's go ahead and go for Banette. Alright, I am back, folks, and as you may tell by the different graphics here, we are now in the Hoenn region. And we are right by Mount Payar, and I'm going to show you where I am on the map. So this is Lily Cove. You want to fly to Lily Cove, and then you want to make a reverse capital L, and you can be able to arrive at Mount Payar. And in Mount Payar, you can be able to catch the Shuppet. Now you can also catch Duskull here, and there's a female waiting for us, so that's perfect. Okay, so we're going to do one extra step here. We have a Smeargle with the moves Soak, Spore, False Swipe. So before we go any further, we should soak it, so that way this Shuppet is a water type now. We just saved itself from minusing its HP, so there we go. I don't know why, I'm so used to doing Spore, False Swipe at times, because I catch Pokemon that have moves that have recoil damage, so let's go ahead and throw a Pokeball and let's see if we can catch this. Alright, perfect. And we caught our base breeder, so let's go ahead and take a look at it. Alright, Rash doesn't really have any 31s, so that's perfect, because we can show from start to finish how we can be able to do that. I don't really want to show the whole breeding process again, because I've already showed that with Stantler, so feel free to backtrack on that if you would like. What I would like to show is me acquiring the breeders, so I'm going to do that. Alright, we are back on the global trade link, and I want to show myself acquiring the different breeders. Let's go ahead and go step by step, and let's go ahead and get our Chaos Fathers, shall we? So the very first thing we're going to do is go for Male, then Chaos, and then we're going to go Adamant. That's our very first thing we have to do. So the cheapest father is 1.2k, which is nice. The nature is not the hard part. The hard part is the IVs. Let's go ahead and omit the nature, and now let's go ahead and check the attack IV. Okay, that's 2k. Then we have this speed IV, which should be 12k. Okay, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go for the attack stat first, because I want to save some money. Okay, perfect. Now let's go ahead and go for that speed stat. And then we have to pay a bit of a premium. 45k. Alright, now it's kind of similar to Stantler's pricing, but Chaos Breeders are probably one of the hardest breeds to get as of time of this taping. So let's go ahead and take a look. So we have Careful, Litwick, and you can be able to breed that with our Shuppet. So let's go ahead and equip all the items, but I don't really want to show the process of the breed. If you want to see the process of Stantler's breed, then feel free to backtrack over to Stantler, and then you can be able to see how I breed. And I'm going to go ahead and get the equipment here, so that way you can be able to get a general idea of how much this costs. So we're going to need a power bracer and a power anklet. And then we're going to need an Everstone for Ghastly, which we're going to check on the global trade link real quick. The Everstone, which is 5k as per the usual. You're going to have to buy 3 Everstones, but why do you need to buy Everstones? You can just farm them off of Rigrola, implying that you have the Stantler that was bred earlier. You can actually farm them at Wellspring Cave, which is to the left of Unova's daycare. And just look out for Rigrola and farm those Everstones that way. So basically what we're going to need is 3 Everstones for the Adamant nature for our Shuppet, because we're going to be breeding it first with that Ghastly. And then we're going to need Power Bracer, so that way you can breed with that Chandelure. Or the Litwick, I should say. Sorry about that. I'm so used to the evolutions here. And then we have another Litwick, which we can be able to transfer the speed stat as well. And then we can have a 2x31 Banette ready to frisk. So I can be able to show you my Banette so you can see an optimized Banette and what it looks like. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. Alright, I am back and I'm going to show you my personal Banette, or at least one of them. I have 2 personal Banettes that I carry around specifically for frisking things like Grimer, so I can be able to skill swap the sticky hold ability. Then I can switch in and out into that other Banette, and I can just keep alternating between the friskers so that we can be able to take away all the sticky hold Grimers. But that is another topic for another day. For now, I'm going to show you the optimized Banette. So basically what we have here is Thief, Imprison, Fling, and Skill Swap. These moves for Banette can be able to handle several threats. Most notably, it can handle Self-Destruct from Geodude and Graveler because it's Ghost type, and it can be able to handle many other threats as well. Now, I should note that if you are farming Geodude and Graveler that do have the ability to Self-Destruct, then it'd be best to carry around something like a Poliwrath with a pretty high attack stat. Just breed 31 attack and 31 speed and 31 HP, because Poliwrath has some bulk and you want to take advantage of that. Alright. And you can also make it Adamant nature so it can hit hard with its Thief move. But you want to lead with Banette first and then switch into Poliwrath. And I have right with me an optimized Stantler, for the exception of the EVs. And I have an optimized Banette with the EVs. So you want Stantler and Banette to have this exact EV spread. 200 to 2 attack, 200 to 2 speed, and 6 HP. And then for the moves, that's where it gets a little different. So the Thief, that's the one move that they all have in common. But the other moves is where both of them differ. We have Thief, Imprison, Fling, and Skill Swap for the Banette. And this is good for things like Grimer and the like that have the ability Sticky Hold, so you can be able to take that away, and you can be able to take away the item from Grimer. And the reason why you want to take item away from Grimer is because Grimer could have Nugget or Black Sludge. A lot of people like to focus on the Nugget. Since I am a competitive player, I love the Black Sludge because I can be able to equip that on my Poison-type Pokemon for recovery per turn. So, Banette, the main purpose of Banette, in my opinion, is to try to get the items that you can't normally get through the Stantler. So, as an example, Stantler cannot thief the Grimer because Grimer has the Sticky Hold ability, which essentially means that Grimer holds on to the item for dear life, even when it's about to die. So, how do you ensure that you get the item before Grimer faints? Well, good question. You have Skill Swap in your move pool, and Skill Swap can be able to swap out that Grimer's Sticky Hold ability. Now, before you do Sticky Hold, Grimer also has the move Fling, which essentially throws the item at you. So how do you be able to stop Grimer from using Fling? You have the move Imprison, which means that if you have the move, that means Grimer can't use the move. Well, guess what move this Banette has? Fling, which means that Grimer cannot use the move Fling if you essentially bar it from using that move. Just Imprison, Skill Swap, and Thief. And you'll be able to take the item and you can flee, or you can be able to take the item and knock out Grimer. Now, Stantler has a completely different purpose. Stantler is just trying to get to Banette's level. But we can be able to optimize the Stantler to be able to accommodate you for the time being while you wait to obtain the Banette. So, we have Thief here, but we have Body Slam, Earthquake, and Hypnosis. The reason why we want Hypnosis is because Hypnosis, what it does is that it puts Pokemon to sleep. Now, this implies that you bump into a shiny Pokemon, which is why we have Body Slam here for stab damage. You'll be able to singly knock out every single Pokemon. And you can also Earthquake for XP. But I actually have Teddy Ursa to do Earthquake and Hyper Voice, but that's just a personal taste of mine because I like the passive pickup rather than having Stantler do it all. Speaking of Stantler, let's go ahead and change that Intimidate ability to Frisk. How do you be able to change that? Well, you go in here, right, and you buy the ability pill, which is 35k, and then you can be able to switch the ability. Let's go and do that real quick. Okay, I am back, and in my bag is the ability pill. Make sure to go inside the medicine area if you want to find the ability pill. Now, we want Frisk, we don't want Intimidate. And now, this Stantler is ready for prime time, implying that you EV train it and level it up to level 100, and you PP max the moves. But besides that, these two Pokemon are ready for prime time. Alright, and I hope you all enjoy the brief video tutorial here on the Stantler and the Banette. This is not normally the sort of content I do here on the Roy Rogers News Channel, breeding and the like, but I wanted to show the process because I know some people are probably wondering, how do I get a Frisk Pokemon by myself? And this is the way you do it. And I know that some people are probably going to ask me, hey Roy, I don't have access to Hoenn. I don't have access to Sinnoh or Unova. How do I have access to the Shuppet and the Stantler? And that's a good question. You could be able to encounter both Shuppet and Stantler in the Altering Cave, implying that you're on the cycle. In fact, Reeves and Seth have implemented a tool where you can be able to check what cycle you're on. So let's go ahead and check. And as of right now, you can only catch Zubat. But when you can be able to catch Shuppet or you can catch the Stantler, then it will show here in this box. As a brief note here, you can no longer catch the Shuckle because Shuckle is now exclusively in the Hoenn Safari, courtesy of the Rock Smash at area number 6. Before I go, I would like to give you a brief bonus since you've been sticking around here with this tutorial, and this is not the content I do normally. As a gift to all of you, I would like to show you certain EV locations where you can be able to get that. So let's go ahead and go to our EV locations right now. And we're going to start off with HP. Alright, I am back, and we're currently at the HP EV training spot, which should house Among Us here if you use Sweet Scent. Now, Route 10 is just north of Opelucid City, where the red arrow is pointing at, and you can be able to encounter the Among Us. Just be careful of the Rage Powder, particularly if you bump into a shiny Among Us, which is why it's very important to carry around a grass type when you're EV training here, so that way, when you do encounter a shiny Among Us, you can be able to target the other Among Uses without being affected by Rage Powder. Now, as for the attack stat, all we have to do is just cycle down here, and we can be able to go inside this grass right here. I'm going to show the map again, Route 10, which is north of Opelucid. And you can be able to encounter attack, which is Buffalant. And for defense, let's go ahead and go to that real quick. Alright, I'm here at Kanto's Victory Road, and that is just south of the Indigo Plateau right here. And you can be able to get Marowak and Sandslash if you Sweet Scent for hordes. Alright, and as for special attack, I have another location for you, and it is back in Unova, so let's go ahead and go there real quick. Alright, I am here at Route 9, which is just west of Opelucid, and you can be able to encounter Duosian hordes, which will give plus 10 special attack. Now, as for special defense, I have another location, and that will be back in Kanto, where Tentacruel hordes are. So let's go ahead and go to Island 7 at the Trainer Tower right now. Alright, we are here at Island 7, just north of the Pokemon Center, or 7 Island. There we go. Island 7, 7 Island, tomato. Okay, there we go, perfect. And right over here is the water here, which we can surf, and then we can be able to get Tentacruel with the Horde there. We'll be able to get our plus 10 special defense. And last but certainly not least, we have speed. So let's go ahead and go to the speed stat. Actually, we can go and fly there right now. We can go to Island 5. And just east of the Pokemon Center, right here in this grass, you can be able to encounter a horde of Pidgeotto. And you can be able to get plus 10 speed. Now, implying that you're using the Stantler, you might want a more grounded option, and that's understandable. You can be able to go to Unova, and I can show you that location real quick. Here you can be able to encounter hordes of Rapidash, and you can be able to EV train for speed. So feel free to EV train here, or you can EV train in the Pidgeotto area if you have Hyper Voice. So I wish you all well with your frisking endeavors. The reason why I wanted to show you all the EV training locations that I personally use is because I would like to thank you for sticking around with me while I was conducting the breeding tutorial. So thank you so much for sticking around with me. And again, check out my friends over at Empty Birdfield and Petrosky. They have excellent publications about breeding from start to finish, implying that you want a 5X or a 6X31. So feel free to check them out. I'm going to link their stuff down in the description below. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you so much for watching. This is the Roy Rogers News Channel. Don't forget to comment and subscribe to the channel, like the content that you see here. And this is the Roy Rogers News Channel signing off. Fast, accurate, unbiased Roy Rogers News.